Suppose you could make a lot of money trading freshly harvested baby brains. Would you do it, or would you say that's immoral? You wouldn't trade them, would you? It's too awful a concept. Well, to me, Bitcoin is almost as bad. It's not having any desirable social purpose. We've got debit cards. It isn't like we don't have a payment system. We've got WeChat in China, incredibly efficient payment system. China doesn't need Bitcoin. And if you have a WeChat, why would you do it in a medium where the value changes enormously? Nobody in his right mind would want a payment system where the very thing you were using went up and down by 20% in a day. No, I regard the thing as a combination of dementia and immorality. And I think the people that are pushing it are a disgrace.
For those have risen to be north of $1 trillion. But this looks like if they hit this right, this 2025 big peak right there, right, they might have hit it just right.
See, the thing, though, that troubles me is that it'll still be a while before rates actually come down. So let's say the Fed starts cutting in 2024. How quickly are they going to cut? And the rates comparatively to what the rates are right now, which is probably pretty much 0% for a lot of that corporate debt, is still going to be relatively high. And what is the prompt, the catalyst that forces the Fed to cut rates? A recession, so earnings are weak. So we land in this
Melissa,
territory that doesn't seem like a great. I mean, yeah, it'll be better if the Fed starts cutting rate in 2024, but it certainly doesn't solve it.
I want to respond to that one part that you just mentioned there, which is a very interesting risk scenario that I think all investors need to be aware of. If inflation remains high and we hit a recession, don't look for the Fed to come and bail you out. Guy is 100% right. There is a Fed put when it comes to systemic risk, but there's not a Fed put when it comes to default and losses in the private sector. There's a difference there, and that may make the scenario somewhat worse. But you're absolutely right that ultimately most of these companies will be refinancing into higher rates as far as you can see, because I don't see zero on the, I mean, just imagine if on your $100,000 mortgage, your payment goes up from $8,000 to $16,000 on the junk bond level, and even for corporate, now they're going to have to adjust. That means layoffs. That means cost contraction, other areas like that. They're going to have to watch themselves if they want to maintain their profit margin.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher, and you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And we know how Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger feel about Bitcoin. But guys, it's only the Hegelian dialectic. And Charlie Munger didn't bring up China and WeChat for any reason. We know they want the same system here in the United States, and then also CBDCs. And we have Biden bringing up the 15% tax for these corporations. And not only are they going to be paying a 15% tax, but guys, all this free money has ended. These corporations could borrow money to pay pensions, to pay salaries, free of charge. Guys, that has ended. So what do you think that's going to happen to the American economy? That's right, guys, layoffs. We know when it comes to a 15% tax on the corporations, they're not going to pay it. They're going to pass it on to the consumer. So that's going to increase inflation and then also increase job loss. Remember, the NWO caused the problem. Wait for the reaction and run in with the solution. And that solution is the robots, algorithms, and drones taking over the economy, paying each other with crypto, and the sheep are going inside the metaverse. And while they're in the metaverse, they'll be getting that UBI, that universal basic income. But little do they know that money is programmable, telling you what, where, and when and how to buy, and you have 3 to 6 months to spend it, or poof, it's gone. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Argentina's victory should have the biggest political consequence of any sports event since the Mets winning the World Series in 1969 re-elected Mayor Lindsay. David, there are some events where they'll only matter if they screw up. Kind of like an anesthesiologist in an operating room. And one of those events is Congress's handling of the debt limit. Nobody's going to remember this event if we continue to be able to issue debt freely. But if the United States gets close to default, that's something that could cascade for years to our country's real detriment and to the detriment of the dollar as the central currency in the world monetary system. At the end of the year, people always look forward and they come into the new year with some kind of psychology, and we're just going to have to see how that plays out. There's a lot to worry about in 2023, Russia, Ukraine, China, inflation and possible recession in the United States. But there's also a lot to be hopeful about. Inflation has come down. The economy is stronger than people expected. It'd be hard for things in Russia, Ukraine to get much worse. So I think, once again, we're at the brink of a year that's going to be very much a hinge year in history.
We're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
This effort. And China has big plans for this. They intend to seed their digital yuan into the global environment by giving it away to visitors at next winter's Olympics. When they arrive at the airport, they're going to get yuan digital wallets. They're going to receive digital yuan. They're going to use it throughout their visits to Beijing, and then they're going to take it back to their home countries. They see this as a huge advantage. Why? Because who controls the underlying protocols, who controls the underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money.
Most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Drama Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Drama Tam save New York. From COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Drama Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.